Okay, I get really excited when I talk about this story all the time. And that's just because it's just one of those revelation times where you're just like, oh wow, like Heavenly Father is involved in this, you know? And we were doing our power hour where we were going out and finding families. And so the one night we found this family, we taught them and it felt awesome. And they asked us to come back the next night. When we got there, pretty sure they were home, but they weren't answering the door. I don't, sometimes like a lot of information can like happen between 24 hours where they're like, oh man, these guys are actually kind of crazy, and so instead of talking it out with us, they kind of just like pretend they're not there. Well, we were kind of bummed and we're like, okay, well, like I guess we should just go tracting in this area, go and walk around. And so we said a prayer and we're like, okay, like let's go. And like we both started walking up, like we were already in that direction, so both of us kind of thought, well, we were already heading this way, so maybe we need to go the other way. So we both turned around. We hadn't communicated anything like to each other. We said the prayer and we started walking, and we both turned around. We found out later that we were thinking the same thing, as like, well, it can't be like just going like the same way that we were already walking, this kind of sounds like undirected, right? We both turned around and it was like we hit a wall. It was just like, we're like, whoa. It was like stop and turn back. And I like looked at her and I'm like, do you feel that? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, I think we need to be going that way. She's like, yeah, I do too. First house we knocked on, there was this young man named Yaakov, and he was searching, he was looking for, he was really strong in like Catholic doctrine, like everything that they had been learning. And so he's sitting there and he's learning about the restoration, and like he just, my companion had just finished Jesus the Christ, so she had like a really good conversation. This actually happened in English, he was more interested in like making sure that we knew what we were, because he spoke such fluent English. He wanted to get like as much information. Like I said, Slovenia, like they were very knowledge hungry, so we're sitting there and we're talking with this guy, and he was exactly who was searching that night. And the elder started teaching him, and he was an investigator for a very long time, baptism date, everything, like super solid kid, and he just like, he's still progressing, in his own way. I haven't really heard news about him since I moved away, but like that was just that moment where, Heavenly Father like stopped both of us like in our tracks, like saying, no, turn around, like someone's looking for you. And when Yaakov, when he heard that story from us, it was just like the Spirit confirmed to him that like Heavenly Father was like trying to answer his questions. And he said that, and like that was just one of the coolest like finding moments for me,